Hello again, friends. If you're considering a move to the Dayton area, whether it's relocating to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, or you just got a new job here, or family, or whatever reason, one of the things you need to consider is the local income tax rates. The Dayton area has a lot of suburbs. I'm not stuttering. I just want to emphasize we have a lot of suburbs here. So it's something to consider because each suburb has its own income tax rate, and it can be very, very confusing. One of the first things to understand about income tax rates is there are actually two different portions of it. The first portion is based on where you work, and the second portion is based on where you live. And if you work on Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, you're PCSing over there, whether it's a civilian contractor or military personnel, it's pretty simple because the base has no city income tax due. So your only city income tax would be due to the local municipality if there is one that is required. However, if you were getting a civilian job in Dayton or Centerville or Beaver Creek or any of those other areas, it's something that you do need to look into. So, for example, for me, I live in Miami Township, which is on the south side of Dayton. My office, which I never go to, but for compliance, I still have one, is in Norwood. And so I am subject to Norwood tax. My wife works in Moraine, and she is subject to Moraine tax, but we don't have any city income taxes here where I live. So one of the things to look at is the city income tax rates. So, for example, Beaver Creek, which is right next to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, has no city income tax. Fairborn, which is right next door, has a 2% tax, and Centerville, which is just south of there, has 2.25% income tax as of 2022 when I'm recording this video. Now, of course, they always are subject to change. So how that works, if you live in say you live in a place that's 2.25%, but you work in a place that's 2%, you would pay the higher rate of 2.25%, and that's split up between the two municipalities. And if you work in a place, like I said, that is higher, then you pay the one you work in. But if you work in a zero place like the base at zero, and you live in Beaver Creek that's zero, then congratulations, you have zero city income tax. Now, before you get to celebrating about zero city income tax, there are a few other things you need to keep in mind. First of all, you might have fewer city services in that case. I know a lot of people that live in the Beaver Creek area that don't have city income tax, but they have well water. And so you end up having expenses for that. Or they might make it up in property taxes. I know a lot of areas, especially near the base, are on well water. I've done a few of those deals too. And those will typically, you don't have city income tax, but now you're paying for the well water. So those or it could be schools as well. Sometimes the school system is, getting less in the way of levies, which can also affect that. So those are some things to keep in mind about city income taxes. It can be very, very confusing. So what I would suggest is as you start looking at properties, you can look up the different county websites and look at the tax burden in that area and look at the total tax burden, not just the income tax, but also the property tax as well. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, 937-572-3713. Also visit me online at scarpero.com. Thanks.